Durante with a free header. And the honour of Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face. Bessa Barisha. It's Connor Payne on the left. Alessandro Diamante, the ball on a string. And Diamante! The Western service crew are celebrating.
And welcome back to All Out West. And what an amazing week in the A-League. And I wish I spell checked and grammar corrected my intro. So, big week in the A-League. Sydney managed to beat Sydney. The Jets and Bulls drew. Adelaide edged out CCM, and a couple games were postponed due to the extreme weather condition. And what's that? We're going to win the league. We will talk about that a bit later in more detail. I'd like to introduce this week's panel. This week we have Kelsey, Jay, and Leb. What's the highlight been this week, guys? Leb, you go first in your FFA Cup gear.
It's from when we lost. It was old Marco gave me the shirt, but couple of highlights for me. Just a quick shout out to Liverpool for beating Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final, and the other two highlights are the two wins.
Yeah. Jay?
Yeah, my highlight was staying top of the table. Obviously, the Liverpool Cup win. That's why Kelsey's not here. He's sorry.
Kelsey's right here.
He's
and don't associate with me, Chelsea, ever.
Sorry, I don't. All London clubs to me are the same. They're all shit. So.
It's like you Northern clubs are all the same.
London scours anyway for the time being. So
anyway, so yeah, good to see us stay top with the game in hand. Go to 9-2-3, which I didn't think would happen. 9 wins at this stage of the season, I'm right with. So hopefully we can keep it going and stay top.
Yeah, Kelsey, how you traveling?
Yeah, my highlights are clearly the two wins. Speaking of two of those three losses, by the way, just to add to your point there, were COVID-affected games too. One was when the squad was ravaged with COVID, and one was the game directly after we recovered and had a month off and hadn't really been training. So that's just interesting to note there. And look, Arsenal keep winning, so they're doing well. And Rangers knocked out Dortmund. I'm cool with that.
Not mad at it. Life after Stevie G, they're still doing all right.
Yeah, and Leafs.
Oh, yeah, Leafs winning 10-7 against Detroit. They actually outscored the Super Bowl.
How good's that? With Leafs fans.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm Detroit, but I have not followed it since Pavel Datsyuk was the captain, which probably would have been about 8 years ago. So
that was a few years ago. But yeah, do you guys want to get into something a bit more relevant with a club update?
Yep.
Okay, so we only don't have a lot to talk about in the club update section, but I listened to the presser earlier today, and there's a lot of good information. I really like how the club's posting it on their YouTube channel. And as it stands, Western United have won more games, amassed more points, and performed better than all of last season. This was raised by Joey Lynch in the post-game presser, as I mentioned. And Aloisi responded with how he's addressed the physical side of it, so making sure that the team are well-versed in playing and all that jazz, but it was really put a focus on the mental state and not accepting easy excuses such as we had to play around, we had to travel, we don't have a stadium and stuff like that. Kelsey, what are your thoughts on this kind of sports psychology thing?
The mentality's clearly changed. I mean, last year away, we were woeful in any away game. We didn't adapt to, sudden changes. This year, outside of those two games I mentioned, real aberrations with COVID affected, we haven't really made any excuses when we have. We've gone away with one, we've been home with one, we've played big teams and won. The mentality's there that they're focused on getting the win first. Most of our wins have been, 1-0. They're just focused on getting the job done.
Yeah. Any additions to that, guys?
Yeah, I just feel that this season, the level of discipline's completely different. Like as Kelsey mentioned, the mentality's changed within the club. It feels like Johnny has brought a real winner's mentality, even though he hasn't won anything as coach. We know what he's done as a player. He's got plenty of accolades there. So I just think been a really, really positive season, especially after the end to last season. And if we can keep it going, sky's the limit at the moment.
Yeah, speaking of mentalities, I think the one mentality we haven't touched on is that of Joey Diaz, the immigrant mentality, because I think our signings from overseas, Leo and Prijovic, have been instrumental in our wins. Even Rene Krins started and he's looking solid. So I think it's we didn't gel immediately, but the further we go into the season, the better we're looking, which is what we were all praying would happen. You know, we'd be hoping at this point we'd be scoring at least a couple goals a game while still winning, and it's happening. So if we keep on this path, I don't even think we've hit our peak yet. I'd say we're maybe 70% of the way there towards our peak. So let's keep going up.
Definitely. I think there's a number of things to take away from that. It's just how he's come in and with Hayden Fox and really just stripped it back to the skeleton. This is what we do. We will.
I think he's frozen this time.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not us.
The host who boasts the most roast.
Look, I think we'll just.
Yeah, I'm back.
I hope you
back,
just came in to hear that phrase.
Yeah, I just heard boast the roast.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Is this? Are we getting carveries? What's really funny is I actually upgraded my internet today and have been having no interruptions all day. So enjoy. But yeah,
until now.
as I was saying, they've really put a lot of effort into that. And I think that's really paying dividends for us. I'm genuinely enjoying it. And I was actually Googling something at the same time to get our updated March fixtures, but I hadn't pulled it up yet. So just give me a second. Here we are.
Would you like me to cover the injuries?
Yeah, if you could, buddy.
All right, I'll cover the injuries while you're getting that fixture list up. So, Diamante and Payne were rested, and Aloisi was unable to confirm whether they'll be matched for this week's game. I don't know what your thoughts, but I think we're in no rush to bring them straight back in. It's not like we're suffering without them being in the team at the moment. May as well just let them get fit and well rested. Like, this is the advantage of when you're winning games.
Yeah, completely agree.
Especially if you've got players that are willing to step up to the plate, like people like Dylan Parias and I think it was Bayou as well stepped up to the plate in Payne's absence, where they're not as good as Payne, but definitely not atrocious replacements. And we've still been able to get points without him and without Diamante. So at least we know we can fill those gaps.
Well, you could make a claim for DP being at a similar level, especially after what we saw from him last season. But Bayou is fresh, and I've been really, really impressed by him.
Yeah.
I think DP struggled this season up until the last game. I'd still pick Connor just because of, year in, year out, he's a good player. But definitely, obviously, DP is one for the future, and he might even be one for right now if Connor doesn't come back and at his best. But we'll see what happens, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a time to prove themselves. Let's Lockie Wales and Dylan Price in. And we'll get into this a bit more, but I dare say they're competing for the same role, that right wing. Because once Payne's back, because if you notice, they've been subbing in and out all season.
Mm.
Yeah.
If Lockie wasn't performing by that 60-minute mark, DP's on. So I reckon they're going to be battling for it, which is interesting. But they're also close friends, so that'd be a weird environment, I think, to be honest.
It just feels there's such a close-knit friendship within the squad with a lot of the players, and that they are a really close-knit unit. So that always definitely adds to results as well. You see teams that bond together, play well together.
Yeah.
That also comes back to a lot of the players have played together elsewhere, like Wenzel, Halls and Young and the City rejects that have turned into the Western, Duns at the moment. So, yeah, that's they're all pretty much, with the exception of our internationals, they're all A-League mainstays. And, a lot of them are legends, already A-League legends in their own right. So you'd sort of expect that sort of ability to gel because they've all played each other. Look at Nikolai Topor-Stanley. He's been around forever. And I think, honestly, this might be one of his, if not his best season. I've not
For a
seen him
while,
play
at
this
least.
well in a hot minute.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah. Do you think he's purely like playing this season to beat Durante's record? Like out of
No, I
spite?
think he still had the legs in. I definitely
Hmm.
think that he was looking at that record and saying, I can beat it, I can play on. But I think even if he was 50, 100 games behind, he would have played on.
Okay. Just
Would
a
not
thought.
surprise me if he smashes Durante's record by a season or so.
Yeah, I could
To be
see him
completely
playing
honest.
on next season again.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially if he keeps
Mm.
this level of fitness and performance up. Definitely.
Okay. I got the fixtures up. Let's get into that, guys. So Saturday, March 5th. So backstory here. The fixtures for March have just been released a couple of days ago, so we're going to go through them. So Saturday, March 5th, West United take on Newcastle Jets at Mars Stadium at 3:05, which is in Ballarat. I will be there. It'll be my 12-week-old daughter's first game, so that's going to be a fun one. Friday the 11th of March, we take on Sydney FC at Leichhardt Oval. So that's a Friday night,
Again?
7:45. Yeah, I feel like we just keep doing the same things, but it's all good. Saturday 19th of March, we take on City at 7:45 at Amy Park, our home game. So that's going to be a good one. The following Wednesday, we take on Melbourne Victory at Amy Park, their home game at 7:05 on a Wednesday, which is a bit of a rough one.
At least it's a better time than the Sydney FC game.
Yeah, but that's one of for a Victorian fixture, it's one of the better ones for the teams. Like you think they try to capitalize that, at least get a Friday. And then Saturday, 26th of March, we head down to Brisbane to Moreton Daily Stadium to take on Brisbane Roar. And that concludes our March, which includes 5 games. So it's a pretty big March ahead. Do you guys want to get into the game review?
Yeah.
Sure do.
Yeah, let's do this.
Would you like me to take care of this one?
Oh, yeah, you do it. You go, big fella. I wrote this so terribly to spite you.
Backing up a decent win and attendance a few days prior, 1,850 braved the warm weather to watch Western United take on Sydney FC on a Wednesday night. Wallace, what were your thoughts on the attendance and the way you wrote that?
I was expecting you to enunciate like I would. I thought you were more of a character actor than this, so I'm a little bit disappointed. I give you about a B-.
Oh, I changed it purposely.
No, I think it was a really good turnout by our fans. When on the 3 days prior, we had over 3,000 people on a Sunday evening. So I'm a big shout out to everyone that turned up on that day. I wasn't able to make it, but I believe Leb and Jay, you guys were there.
Yes, we were. I took the halftime kick and hit the post, so I suck.
Yeah, I saw that. If anyone hasn't seen that footage, we should roll that at the end of this episode. It's a good time.
Yeah, if you've got it there, ready to go, yeah, chuck it on.
No, I don't have it.
No. Yeah. Honestly, to me, it was worth the $60 to see you hit that post. That was brilliant. I haven't laughed like that in a while.
My longer shot was better than my shorter one. The longer one, 10 more meters, and it would have been in.
Your penalty was perfect.
The penalty at the end was class. It was right in the bottom corner. But that second one, that was the one I wanted to hit.
Anyway, back to the actual game. Dan, that was rough getting to. You know, I knock off work at 3:30 and I just made it. You know, I made it with about 20 minutes to spare, but you know, not enough time to go home and get changed or think about our Geelong fans. There's no way they're going to be able to get from school drop-off, pick-up into the game on time. I think a few did rock up maybe 30, 40 minutes into the game, but damn, just an awful time slot. Good because, I liked it because I could get parking and I could drive home. I was home by 8 o'clock, 8:30, which was good, but that's pretty much the only positive out of that time slot. 5:25, maybe even 6:30 is like marginally better, like still not ideal, but 6:30 gives people an extra hour to get in, which does make all the difference. So yeah. Other than that, the it was a bit more of a chill atmosphere from the crew. Didn't chant as much because honestly, midweek I think we were all a bit tired. It was bloody hot, and honestly didn't have as many numbers as we usually would, but the atmosphere was still good. Booed the living shit out of Max Burgess. To the point where I don't know if he flipped it.
Don't continue there.
No, let's carry. Let's get.
All right.
But
I
yeah,
promise
other
you
than
we will
that,
get to that.
atmosphere was quite good. Yeah, it was actually quite a nice night. It ended up being to watch some footy. Just wish it was a bit later on.
Well,
Yep.
with Payne and Diamante out, Wales took a more midfield role with Bayou on the left wing of Price starting. Level, Sally, what are your thoughts on the changes?
I was a bit sceptical at first seeing Bayou because if correct me if I'm wrong, but this was his first start of the season, and last season he didn't really catch the league alight when he did play those few games. He did. Look, he played in our bad run, so that's one
He
thing
was
I
the
will give him
shining
benefit
light.
of the doubt. But at the same time, when you look at those games are not memorable at all. So it wasn't all his fault. But anyway, that's not to the point of this. I was a bit shocked to see him in the starting lineup, but he did really well for not having game time. Sorry, who was the other one that came in as well?
Wales took a midfield and Price started.
Yeah. He obviously we'll get to the game on the weekend, but had a better game on the weekend. But I felt like he did really well midweek as well. Our first half was a little bit sloppy, but that may have been down to our changes. But I feel all around the team was pretty well adjusted to the circumstances of the game.
Anyone else want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I would have started Theo Harris, to be completely honest, over Bayou, just because purely off his performances this season, he's definitely earned a start, especially after his cup game, and just the substitutions. He's got on and got a couple of assists, played some great passes. I think he's just no offense to Bayou, but I think he's earned it a bit more, and I think Pariah struggled a bit in that game starting. Sort of got into it more and more as the game went on, but ran out of gas by about half time, and I think he got subbed. And I just think it would have been better to have Theo Harris on. And I think we were missing Payne more than we were Diamante, just with the quality of crosses into the box. Bayou was good. He'd get the ball. He'd, beat one or two. But then there's just the final product, the end product really wasn't there from him. Wasn't finding anyone in the box, or he'd just get the ball nicked out of his feet before he could put in a good cross. That being said, we didn't see much of him the first half hour or so because we got absolutely slaughtered by Sydney. But I think he's more of an impact player than a starting player. But worth seeing what happens, I suppose, trying him out.
Yeah, I agree on that. I enjoyed watching Bayou more than Theo Harris. And I felt like Theo Harris squandered a couple of chances. And I know he didn't come in for as much time. But I'm a little bit more pro Bayou at this point in time. Just I think that was a better thing. He's from our own NPL team. It's good to see him get those opportunities.
I respectfully disagree.
Look at that. We're being mature. So now, Jay, I can finally get back to you here. So Burgess was heavily booed during the game, as you alluded to. Your thoughts on this?
Brilliant. It's what football's all about, Cast your mind back to some of the greats like the AWAW boos. It's something you really love. Yeah, I know. Well, honestly, it might sound cruel, but I was hoping we'd get up by about 2-3 goals and then Burgess would score and then try and silence us. That would have been fantastic. We could have thrown some stuff on the pitch AWAW style.
Would have been worth giving away the clean sheet.
He did. I don't know if he flipped us off, but he did at least waggle a finger at us, and we definitely reacted to that, calling him a snake and everything else under the sun that I can't repeat on the podcast. But not well liked by Western United and Wellington.
Sorry, Jay. The best part about that, though, was when he did waggle the finger, we scored less than a minute later.
Yeah,
I feel like the timing was just perfect.
He really
He was letting us know we're about to score one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it might be a inside job, I reckon. Jay's conspiracy for the week, Max Burgess is still under Western United contract, but
he's a double agent.
Nah, well, I'm not surprised. He snaked one club, he snaked us now, so at least he's hated by more than one A-League club. by next season he'll be at the Wanderers.
But he legitimately left Wellington. Like, he was under contract to us and then just refused to play. Like, that's a completely different, like, bag of chips, you know what I mean? Like,
he left us worse than he left Wellington, that's for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'll say there's a right way and a wrong way to leave the club, and he went about it the complete wrong way. You look at all the other players who left by mutual consent and that during that season. It was a mutual discussion. They came to an agreement. They left on good terms. This was the wrong way. I'm just going to refuse point blank to play unless you send me.
And a lot of those players that have left, we still highly respect as well. And they're players that we still have spoken to since. We've seen them after games and they've still come over and we've still got a great relationship with those players.
And it's not as if he's forced a move into Europe or something. It's a lateral move between A-League clubs. So,
and a stagnant year as well. That's the main thing that was an issue. He gave up a year of his career.
Well, it shows because he just doesn't look as good.
It's pretty weak.
Sorry, Wallace.
Any final thoughts on it?
We got the 3 points and that's all that matters. And he didn't.
I like that one. So the game presented a more even possession percentage for Western United with 45%. This was followed by 11 shots with 5 on target and ultimately the one deciding net with the assist king, Prijovic, teeing up the informal sticker who left-footed the decisive goal for the game. Do we have footage this week?
No, I do not have footage.
I'll reenact it.
I'll just say the back heel was phenomenal.
No, over to this side.
We need an animation department.
It was a good back heel and then pretty much just a pass into the net, really.
But they're the best. That's what good strikers do. They don't necessarily try and shoot the hell out of the ball. They just place the ball where it needs to go in the net.
And hats off. I mean, it was a good pass, but also Lustig did that little sidestep to just give himself the extra space, and just had felt like he had ages and ages to pass that ball into the net. That
he
goal
could have
felt
taken another 30
easy.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, how did we land Prijovic? He's been really good for us once he hit his physical fitness. And I like that he's selfless. That for me is a big thing for a striker, not trying to just hog the goals. But yeah.
Yeah. On that as well, for his fitness, it's beautiful after going from Berisha to Prijovic. Prijovic runs 100 minutes. He'll run off the field, on the field, run around in the change room. He just does not stop running. He does not stop pressing, which is something we needed from Berisha that we never got.
And it's actually surprising because sorry, Joe. It's actually surprising because he is a bigger guy as well. And to see him running like that, you usually don't get that out of your taller, stronger strikers as often.
Yeah, and he defends well he's good at it. He's got good ball control. I'm very pleased by his siding. When he wasn't getting many minutes at the start, I was like, shit, have we got a dud? I was a bit concerned. And yeah, proofs in the output.
I think it just shows that he wasn't fully fit when he came at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he really had a preseason though.
He did come late.
Yeah.
Plus COVID.
Especially COVID. Yeah, it was hard to get into the country at that point. So good to see all of our players now fully fit.
Yeah. I like this season. There's no real passengers, The starting 11 each week seem to all be doing their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Wallace feels this game was a grind-out win, which shows that the grit and determination of the playing group, but also advised that it was not the most enjoyable watch. But with 3 points, that's all that matters. Now, I was actually talking to Nick about the last game, and I was saying I'd much prefer this Aloisi brand where we're getting the wins and that to redound to exciting football, or we're getting hammered 5-0. What are your guys' thoughts?
Results are key at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you win 1-0 every game, you win the league.
Also worth mentioning, I think the games are boring up until we score. Then they tend to open up both ways a little more.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not exciting, Like, honestly, that game, the Sydney game, was quite boring up until Lustica scored. And then it was sort of, all right, how are we going to defend here, or how are we going to try and build on this lead? But until that deadlock was broken, it was not like, honestly, we were a bit surprised up the other end because we couldn't really get a good look at what was happening. Then we saw the bulge in the back of the net, and it's like, oh, we've got a game on our hands here, which, not the best way to play unless you're winning every week, which we are. So I'll take it.
Yeah, but I am enjoying the little tactical nuances that we're a much more tactically wise team now, and I'm really enjoying that.
I want to weigh in on that. Just the statement I made for this game was, I think it comes off a bit harsh, but it wasn't our best game to watch. Was more so the point I was making, showing how we're getting more resolve as a team and locking into our foundations and fundamentals. But also on that note, I've lost where I was. Sorry. Carry on.
No, but look, I didn't see what you wrote here as a negative. I just thought it was a simple one.
I just want to
not every game is the most exciting game. It doesn't matter what team you support, what game you play. Not every game is going to be an excitement one. You're going to have the occasional. You just got to grind out and get the 3 points, and that is a difference compared to this year. To last year, we couldn't have done any kind of grind out for 3 points.
No, I now I recall what we were talking about, grinding about 3 points. I think Redan gets bogged down in these very complicated plays that you've really got to set up and put all this effort into, but as a overall 90 minutes aren't functional all the time. Like we saw with those offside traps and a few other maneuvers he's done against us with West Sydney Wanderers, where he's got these really good counter arguments to what we're doing, if you will. But you've got to be in that specific moment and specific time not to get pummeled. And I think that's why we last season ended that way, because everyone worked out he's got a couple of plays and then follow your game plan. Do you guys want to move on to player of the year?
Just to add to it.
Just quickly on the Rudin, best analogy for him, if he were a boxer, he would just be a brawler. He just throws caution to the wind, get a knockout or get knocked out, lose or smash or get smashed, and we don't have that with.
Alois is more like your Mayweather. You be tactically sound at all times. You try not to get hit in the head.
Yeah, and just to finish off that Sydney game, Aloisi and Corica said we smashed West in that first half hour. Aloisi said, yeah, we got smashed, but we stayed composed, and then we got ourselves back in the game, and then we scored, and then we won. And that's, the progression. Rather than sort of shit the bed, they've reset over and over multiple times until they're back in it, score, move on, push forward. And that's like Wallace said, I think, biggest night and day difference between our two coaches.
Well, if it was last season, we would have been 2 or 3 down in the first 30 minutes, and then the game would have been over.
Yeah.
We would have been sad walking home already.
Oh, yeah, leaving the ground at 6:30 p.m.
Honestly, we'd probably be lucky to have 3 wins if we were still under Rudin.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say lucky, because we do have a good squad, but who knows if we have the players that we do now, if Rudin was still there.
Yeah, and it's no hate on Rudin too. It's just a difference between the styles, and it's working better for West United under the Aloisi style at the moment.
Yeah, look, he had a great first season for us. He did really well for us in that first season, and we won't forget him as our inaugural coach at the end of the day. But it was time for change, and it shows that the changes paid off, at least at this present moment.
Yeah.
All right, player of the season time?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep. Kelsey, you want to do it or I do it?
Oh, you can do it.
Okay, so Kelsey did 3 to Lustica, 2 to Young, 1 to NTS. Leb, you did 3 to Lustica, 2 to Young, 1 to Leo. Jay, you did 3 to Young, 2 to Lustica, 1.
Oh, no, sorry. I changed my vote for the next one.
Yeah, no, I've got you.
No, this one was all right. No, you're right.
I have a comment to make at the end of this one, though.
Yeah. Jay, you did 3 to Young, 2 to Lustica, 1 to Prio. Scott is abstaining from voting. I did 3 to Lustica, 2 to NTS, 1 to Young. Are there any comments? Because we'll read.
What I will say is, I do believe Scott is not giving Young any votes for this game. I have it on good authority, so that means, Jay, I believe you are giving Young 3 for the rest of the season, regardless.
Yep, I told Scotty he has to obviously look. I'm going to say on behalf of Scott, we're going to give no points to anyone, but we're going to add one extra point to Jamie Young. Because he was in everyone's votes, and he had to be. And Scotty's a fucking liar if he doesn't think he was the best 3 on ground for Sydney. He was brilliant.
Well, we all had him for 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, Scott was unable to make it, saying he's a bit busy, couldn't do his vote. So we'll take the piss a little bit, but yeah. We'll move on because we've got another
Scotty,
game.
I'm just saying, I'm going to set myself on fire in the middle of Amy Park if Scotty keeps screwing around with the votes. He's playing with them, and it's not funny. This award means a lot. It's bigger
You still won't have the heat on you like I did at Amy Park the other day.
Well, look, I think Jamie Young's record speaks for himself. He's got the most clean sheets, and he's double his nearest rival in terms of clean sheets.
Yeah.
You know, and he's making some stunning saves.
Most saves. And we'll get
most saves
that.
too.
We're going to get to the next game review, which I'm going to handle because I wrote it, so why not? Now, on Sunday, the 27th of the 2nd, West United flew to our home away from home, Tassie, to face a depleted Perth Glory in front of 1,552 people. Straight off the bat, how good was active support? The Tassie service crew and all the people that showed up made noise. What did you boys think? I'm going to go with Jay. Jay, what are your thoughts?
With the Tassie service crew?
Yeah.
I thought, I believe they're actually Devonport Soccer Club. I think a few of those boys were. So good to see them coming down, making I think it's about an hour drive for a game on a Sunday night. I was just watching the TV, had the sound up for once, I was actually paying attention. All of a sudden I hear Western. I'm like, you're kidding. No one made the trip. And then it cuts to them, and it's a bunch of people I don't know, and that made me feel brilliant. I thought, wow, we've actually rubbed off quite well. You could hear them chanting, "We are top the league" as well.
Yeah.
So obviously they've been watching the games on TV and picked up 1 or 2 chants. They've still got a fair few more to learn, but good to know that you're having that sort of effect on, a team that seems it's a bit more rural. Let's say, they don't get much top flight action down in Launceston. It's good to know that they're enjoying it and getting on the bandwagon.
It actually seemed more like a Western United home game by the amount of green and black in the crowd.
What I enjoyed was the contrast on the TV. You'd see him go to the Western fans, you'd see him loud and they'd go to the Perth fans and it'd just be some angry drunk guy just sitting by himself quiet.
A couple of things I want to add to that. One, quick shout out to the main guy in the tie-dye shirt that was leading it all. When we head down to Tassie, we want to meet up with you and have a good chat and give you a little bit of praise. But on top of that, it shows that the fact that they're a community that has not seen an A-League game in 10 months, and they came out that involved. They were singing chants, and look, they didn't have the variety of chants that we usually have, but they're not going to games all the time. They're not doing it week in, week out, or bi-weekly like we are, essentially.
Yeah, they're committed this to memory.
Yeah, exactly. Give them some time, and they would be an amazing active support. And I think it just shows more and more that from an expansion team in Tasmania would be a really good thing for the league.
Just quickly as well, there have been a couple games there just involving Perth, not us. So that was
earlier this week. Yeah, first batch of games in 10 months.
That's our first game there in 10 months, and it's good to know that we've still got fans down there and it wasn't just, a one-time or two-time thing.
Yep.
Well, just to cut in there, I think this proves that the Tasmania experiment worked. There are people that are engaged who want football there. And again, we've talked about an expansion side there. I wouldn't be mad if a side started there and we had a really good friendly rivalry out of it because of the groundwork West United have done there. And it would be great to have that, a bit of a thing. There'd be people there, the West United fans, there'd be people like Hobart, whatever.
Yeah.
And
we could almost make it like the Victory Western rivalry. Victory were here before we were, and then we could go over to Tassie and be like, oh, we were here before you guys were. That sort of rivalry.
I think it'd still be a little friendlier.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Now, with Payne and Diamante unable to play again, this saw Rene Krinmakers and Dylan Parias get their first starts for the season, with the latter sealing our win with his first goal. Do you think Dylan Parias is jockeying for the left wing role? Leb.
I believe he played on the right.
Yeah, you're correct. Sorry, I've written this
Yeah,
terribly.
I believe he played it. Yeah, it was him and Rizzo linking up in that game.
Yeah, because Payne's like, sorry, I did this. I had a big day. I had a big day.
Yeah, which means who was he replacing? Well, I think it was more of a switch. We usually have Lockie on the right, and I think the fact that Lockie switched over to the left.
Yeah, what I meant was, is he working towards getting that right wing role off of Lockie, who's typically had it this season?
I wouldn't say he's working on getting it off him. I'd say there's just such a fluidity in our squad, and I'll get to the point in a sec, but all our players can play a number of positions. The main takeaway that I had from the game on the weekend was when we made our first couple of subs, we went from that 3 in midfield to the 2 in midfield, and we went to 2 up front and a couple of wide men. All 4 players up front, whether it was Wenzel Halls, Prijovic, Dylan Parias or Lockie Wales, were fluid with each other. And it's how you see a lot of good teams overseas, the Man Cities, the Liverpools, the Bayerns playing, being able to have that fluidity in attack, that they're able to still keep that pressure and that momentum going, and it's not going to, and you're going to be able to go and press and move out of your position, and it's not going to impact negatively on the structure of the team and the makeup of the team. So that was something that really, really impressed me. Something that I don't think you see in the A-League enough.
Yeah, anyone else?
I don't think he's there yet, still on that role, but I think that was man of the match performance from him, to be completely honest. Good passing stats. I think it was 100%, scored a goal. With performances like that, he's definitely knocking on the door, but consistency is key when you've got a team of very consistent players.
Yeah, look, I think maybe in his own mind, he definitely wants that spot. I mean, who doesn't want to be a starter? No one joins the squad to just be on the bench all the time. I don't think he's quite there yet, but it's good that he's starting to put pressure on the spot though, because competition breeds excellence.
Yeah, definitely.
The main thing is we have essentially 2 players for every position, and that's what you need if you want to be competing on all fronts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, to paraphrase John Aloisi, sorry, I scrolled too far. Carry on, guys. My apologies. Perth Glory dominated play with 62% of possession, and true to form, West United weathered the Glory's attack, choosing to punish Perth on the break. Do you think this play style was affected coming off the short turnaround time since the last game?
Yeah, it's rough when you give players like Fornaroli a lot of the ball, though. So you got to be very careful. Luckily, we had some. Luckily, Topor and Leo were up to it, but you don't. You got to be careful, and you've got to counter well every time you're giving up 60% plus possession.
There were a couple of close chances for Perth in that game. I remember one in the first half, clearly the one where Neil Kilkenny actually came in, had to put a toe in at the last minute, facing his own goal, and got an amazing interception there. So I don't think it was just our centre-backs. Obviously, they played really well as well, but I think it was a whole... Getting to that discipline, it was a whole team effort, and the whole team was disciplined, and we're a collective of players now that want to be gritty, want to grind out the result. It doesn't always have to be pretty.
Yeah. And look, to tell you the truth, use my view differently, but watching the game, at no point did I feel like Perth were a threat to us. I felt like no matter what, we were always going to end up winning, even if they had scored a goal. It just seemed like we were going to get the 3 points, regardless of how much ball they had and how many shots they had. It just seemed like we were going to get the way to win.
Well, especially after the first half, we still had tons more shots than them. I know it evened up a little bit more in the second, but they had the 60% of possession, but we still had almost 10 more shots than them in the first half. Not all of them on target, obviously.
We were very efficient with the ball.
Yeah, that shows our counter-abiling prowess.
If you look at those shots as well, I think we had a similar amount of shots, but I think all but like it was like almost like 18 shots to 16 or something. We had some crazy amount, like 15 shots or something inside the box. Like we were working the ball in a good positions every time. Or
it was 12 to 15.
Every time. 12 to
15, yeah. Close enough. Yeah.
We had 5 on target. They had 2.
Yeah, and I think a decent amount of those inside the box for us, whereas they were shooting from a bit more distance from a lot of the time. I just put that down to our midfield being better, especially when structured defensively, and Neil Kilkenny corralling those forwards a lot of the time. And we'll get to it probably, but Nikolai getting a bit adventurous and snuffing the ball out a bit early and going on a little adventure down the field.
It's doing a bit of Joel Matip there.
Well, we're actually just about to talk of that, but I'll set it up. You elaborate further on it, Jay. So Breivich scored his 5th goal and opened scoring in the 37th minute with an assist from NTS. I think NTS could have pretty much got this goal, but I did feel the whole execution of this, it felt really like haphazard. I felt like it was going to be Benny Hill over the top. If someone released that with Benny Hill over the top, I'd be like, that makes perfect sense to me.
I'm surprised someone hasn't.
Jay. Yeah. I'll do it later.
Caleb hit the nail on the head. Earlier this week, you saw Joel Matip go on a run for Liverpool, who's a big, lumbering centre-back. And then when Nikolai started doing the same thing, I was like, geez, maybe there's a new, formula. Maybe getting your forward, your centre-backs up, you can catch them off guard. And we did, I think they didn't expect Nikolai to make that run. And, when you've got all your attacking players peeling off the other defenders, it gives your centre-back a chance to run. It's only you're more vulnerable at the back, so you got to just make it worth it. And they did. It was a bit haphazard, and the ball did pinball around, but eventually I think Topor nutmegged the last defender straight through to Prio and clean finish. Cleanest finish you'll see. Bottom corner, no chance for the goalie.
Yeah, but again, he didn't overhit it. He just simply got it to where it needed to be. He just placed it into that corner.
It was a
pretty much side netting, but not even that powerful.
He's the excellence of execution in my eyes. He knows what to do.
But without the tapping out in his hometown.
As Andrew Tran calls him, the fake Zlatan. Just clinical.
Yeah, he's great to watch. Now, in a breakout display, and this is the other goal, Garuscio runs the gauntlet of Perth defense and crosses the ball across the box to a hungry Dylan Price, who lays it into the bottom left corner. It was utterly beautiful. We've talked about Dylan Price a little bit, and we'll talk a bit more about it in a second, but how much has Garuscio slotted into our system here? Like, the first couple of games was a bit shaky, but I felt he was doing well, but the scorpion kick aside, he's been crucial to our defensive line. He's getting in attacking. Does anyone have anything you want to say about the Garouche?
I love that pass by him was sorry to cut you off there, but that pass, that was excellent. And even the ball by Kilkenny to him through the lines, it was just brilliant. But Garuscio, I don't think I did, but he nearly got my one vote. Like, he's just impressing me week in, week out. Like, his positioning's good defensively. He's coming forward when he has the chance to, but not not with exposing the defense. He's putting some good balls into the box for strikers to get on. His positioning's really good at the moment.
Yeah, I was a little bit skeptical at the start of the. Sorry, Jay. We've all done that now on this segment. At the start of the season, I was a little bit skeptical because he's always kind of been a bit of an A-League mainstay, but he was never someone who lit it up. But with his pace and still with his defensive awareness and the fact that he can get forward, he's not, well, we saw him the other week score a couple of goals in the one game. One was a massive surprise and a fluke and whatever you want to call it, but still goal of the season. I feel like he just slots into our system perfectly. The way that we do involve our fullbacks in our attack as well. And the fact that they're quick enough, Josh Risden probably not as quick, a bit more technical, a bit stronger, a bit smarter. But yeah, the way that they're going forward and going back, they're adding a different dimension of the team where last season we were playing the three at the back and had the wing back. So there wasn't that defensive dimension. There wasn't that solidity there. We were having a lot coming from them going forward. Obviously, Connor Payne playing in that left back position, but defensively, we weren't getting nearly as much. And I think it really suits both players in our fullback role.
Yeah, I'd say best fullback partnership in the league at the moment, Garuccio Risden. Just touching on Risden though, does need to reel himself in a bit. He's been starting to lunge in a bit too much. I think he's on his third or fourth yellow so far. So he's got
It's his
fourth. So one more and he's out for a game. And just touching on that as well. Lucky he didn't get sent off because that ball was still in play when he handled it.
It's risky, very, very risky and for the player at his experience.
Stupid, very stupid. We don't usually see him do too many stupid things, but gave away a yellow far too early, when he really shouldn't have. I don't know if he just had a bit of rush of blood to the brain for that game, but he was very, very rash. Still played quite well, but I thought, geez, he's living on the edge here. He was really Top Gun pushing it to the limit. I reckon maybe give him a rest at some point, let Tomoki have a spell. Also touching on that, it was nice to see Tomoki get the armband when Josh came off because he's been there.
It was upside down.
Yeah, that's Rizzo's fault though. He put it on him.
Yeah,
that's not Tomoki's fault.
Yeah. But I did enjoy seeing that. Garuccio, back to the very start, tremendous, and he's getting better every week.
Yeah, definitely. We've touched on the handball incident. Does anyone want to comment on it? Anyone else? Jay had a good insight.
No, Jay covered it pretty well.
Yeah, just silly.
Now,
rush of blood.
Yeah. Now, here's a discussion for you. I feel Lockie Wales threw everything he had at this with some decent shots at goal. How do you think he went this game and thus far this season?
Little bit lackluster this season compared to last. He was, for a bit last season, he was one of our shining lights, even during a phase that we were playing pretty well. But this season, kind of the way that we were talking about Risden just then, not rashing his challenges, but rashing his play. The final ball's been a bit, sometimes he's taken the wrong decision. Absolutely amazing this game, though. It was like Lockie Wales of his peak games last season, even those few games the season before that we saw him tear it up for Melbourne City. He was back to, if he can keep playing like that for the rest of the season, he'll contribute plenty of assists, plenty of goals for us. He was back to close to his best, I'd say.
He was brilliant this game. Didn't make my top three, but honestly, I had about 6 players. I had a 6-way tie for 1 point. I just had to pick one. He needs to improve his shooting, and then I think we've got a fully formed player. I think he's just shooting at the wrong times. He's scuffing the ball a little bit. But I really think that his ability to cut in and at least try and get the shot off or get a pass off is one of the best, if not the best in the team when he's on. He's very good at it. Just on what Caleb said, decision-making's got to be better and just that extra bit of quality, and he's a well-rounded player.
Just let me add to that. He's also had 4 assists this season. So, prior to Prijovic really coming into form, he was one of a big, component to our goals with those 4 assists. So just a little bit of a topic there. I think he's doing well, but our expectations aren't measured, and we expect last season's performances.
I do think on that, I do think he's a better creator than a finisher. If he adds finishing to his game, which is what Jay was saying, that will bring the all-roundedness.
Yeah, or pass the ball more because I feel like he's just having silly shots at times. We saw a few weeks ago Lucy going off at him
in the end.
So it's like Yeah. Do either do what you're good at or improve what you want to be doing at what you want to be doing. 4 assists is good. Hopefully, he gets into double figures this season with the assists.
Any final thoughts on the game, Kelsey?
No, like I said, at no point did I think we were going to lose it. I always just watching the game, I felt like we were always going to get the 3 points, and it was job done, and we move on. It was good, and again, shout out to the Tassie Western United fans.
Yeah,
Good
Jay,
to win a game by more than a goal as well.
Yep. And still keeps a clean sheet. What's that?
Yeah,
number eight now, I think. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8 clean sheets.
Yeah,
and we also have the
good.
most 1-0 goal line scores in a season. Just as a little,
Yeah, and we've still got
Already.
another 12 games of the reg. So.
yeah. We're going to get to player of the season. Did you guys want to read out your own, or do you want me to blitz through?
Happy to
Blitz through.
Blitz 'em.
Blitz through.
Okay. Kels, you did 3 to Prio, 2 to DP, 1 to NTS. Leb, you did 3 to Prio, 2 to DP, 1 to Rizzo. Jay, you did 3 to DP.
No, that
2
was
to
the change. Sorry, that was the change. Changed it to Wales
Okay.
for the 1. I did.
Mhm.
Yeah. That
Good
was
call.
the change.
Good call.
One for Wales. Look, I feel
Honestly, I
Rizzo
wish-
was still really good. It was just, I feel like, yeah, he had 2 rushes of blood for the whole game. The rest of the game, I felt like he was solid. But at the end of the day, his experience should show a little bit better than that.
So, following on from that,
Yeah. So sorry about that, but
my apologies. I misinterpreted the group chat. Jay did
Yeah.
3 to DP, 2 to Prio, 1 to Wales. Scott did 3 to Lastica, 2 to Kilkenny, 1 to Leo. I did 3 to Young for that KO punch, 2 to Prio, 1 to Wales. That's literally in my notes. And do
Ding,
you guys
ding.
have it? Do you guys want to know who's currently winning the season?
is it Lustica now?
Jamie Young.
It is currently, because Leb changed the vote from initially what I had, Lastica is currently winning by 1 point. He's on 58.
Oh,
Oh,
He literally had, someone has finally dethroned Josh Risdon, who's on second on 57. Alexander
okay,
Prijovic is really starting to climb at 44. Leo Lacroix coming 4th on 44, tied with Jamie Young.
Jamie, yeah.
I was going to say he's got to be up there. The season he's
yeah, it's got
having.
to sound
Well,
about right.
those are the top 5 so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming 6th is Connor Payne. Nikolai Topper Stanley 7th. 8th, Neil Kilkenny. Garuccio, he's really coming from behind, coming 9th or 8th at 20 points. But yeah.
Who'd have thought NTS up in the 7th as
Well,
well?
it's
You
a-
know, in front of the likes of Garuccio and Neil and all that. Very surprising, but a welcome surprise.
Well, compared to
Diamante
our
has
first
5
season,
points.
That's what I was going to say. Compared to our first season, where every week it was Diamante 3, and he pretty much ran away with it. It's been a lot tighter this season, I feel.
I feel like Diamante is going to score at least 35 points though this season. I think he'll come back
He'll come
and
good.
have a better second half of the year, but not catch the other guys.
Only thing I'll add is Jamie Young would probably be top 3 if a certain member actually gave him a vote once in a while.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
There's
he'll be
a lot of
getting 3
emotion,
from now on,
Caleb.
so.
Honestly,
Hey,
that
I'm better
performance
than the
against
other one.
Sydney, the performance against Sydney, undeniable. Maybe not Perth, although like he still made one good save and commanded the box. But Sydney, I reckon he must have plucked the ball out of the air 40 times. I reckon they put the ball in the. It felt like every time I looked up, he was just taking a specky, you know.
And remember,
He's
he's
had a
not the
ripper of
tallest
his
keeper at the end of the day as well, which makes it more impressive.
Yeah. Do you know how tall he is? 4'10", and he can
It's
still
not
get up that
I thought he was 5'1".
He's not 4'10".
I thought he was 5'1".
Sorry, 5'3". Yeah, he's 5'3".
He's 5'11". He's 5'11".
He's 5'11". He's literally 1 inch shorter than me.
He is.
Yeah, I know,
He's
but
shorter than
like, in
me.
comparison to the other
'Cause I'm
keepers,
6
though, he looks
foot.
tiny. You know what I mean?
He's
Like,
around my height. Like I think
Yeah.
I'm shorter than him. Like I'm
He's a couple
yeah,
of inches shorter than
we take
me.
a piss just because usually you don't have keepers under 6 foot. That's actually
No.
pretty rare to see.
Well, even Ryan Scott's not the tallest keeper in the world. Taller than Jamie, but he's not the
he's
tallest
literally-
keeper in the world. Yeah.
He's 1 inch taller.
Yeah,
Ryan 6. Yeah.
he's literally my height, Ryan Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so it is a bit of an insight. I think your average
4
your
centimeters.
keeper height. I think the perfect keeper height would be like Allison or Edison, probably 6'4". You probably want
6'2" to 6'4". Yeah, the 6'4". Yeah.
But Jamie Young, very, very athletic. Boy, he can jump. Like Ryan Scott, they can both jump and dive, and you'd love to see it. So, shout out to the world's shortest goalkeeper.
It's not the world's
Like he
shortest
does.
goalkeeper.
T-Rex arms.
There's only one thing to do at a time like that.
Yeah.
But
Bring him
we
back.
have some. Yeah, guys.
We love
We'll
you,
take a
Scotty.
minute. We'll take a minute. If you're as passionate about West United as we are, you won't want to miss any of the season's A-League action. And the easiest, quickest, and best way to catch every game from every angle is with the A-League Live app. Search for A-League Live or Sportsmate in the App or Google Play stores. Check it out. We'll have a link in the podcast description. We're big fans. It's literally how we write and argue the stats. We send screenshots of it to each other, calling each other dickheads with stats. It happens. But yeah, we'll move on. Do you guys know what's next?
Game preview.
Hey.
Because according to
A couple of
Ron, game
interesting
preview.
weeks in the shipping comp.
Whoa, I'm on fire today. It's game preview. I'm terrible today, aren't I? Young child, everyone. I've got a 3-month-old. It's amazing. Love it. Now, on Saturday, the 5th of March, West United bring the wagon train back to Ballarat to take on the 8th place Jets. This is the 3:05 p.m. time slot and does not line up with the Begonia Festival in Ballarat, but the Botanic Gardens is quite pretty, and the Bridgemore Farmers Market is on. I would also recommend Red Duck Brewery, banger. I've got the XPA tonight. Big fan. They do a saisons. They do a great variety of beers. I'm going to possibly hit that up at some point during the day prior to the game. Just want to throw out a few other things that are on in Ballarat on that day. Pretty keen. Any comments, or I'll just keep going? Keep going.
Oh, look, nice to get back to the rat, but as we said, we want 1 or 2 games a season there, so I think that's all we've got. So
it's a nice
it'll be a good day out. It'll be a good day out for a change. So
yeah, it's nice later in the season.
Since it's closer to me than it is for now than it is for Amy Park, so I'm happy.
Yeah,
bloody Thornhill Parks. Now, since the Woo have been able to throw to down Sydney and Perth without Deer and Payne, would you expect either to be rushed into the side?
As I said earlier, no, mate, we're doing fine without them. Let them heal, let them get fit again, and then put them back in when ready.
I'd like to see Diamante come on, though, at some point, sooner rather than later, get a goal, because I think it's going to be his last season, to be completely honest. I think it'll be his last season. Even if he does, is he signed on for next season as well?
From the commentary, they said he wasn't, but he said he'd kind of been telling people on other podcasts and stuff that he had a contract given to him, which the club have said isn't true. So I think it's a bit of a grey area there.
Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised to see him next season, but it'd be a Durante role. He'd be coming off the bench at that point, I think.
Yeah. Do some hand gestures, have some fun, lob the ball.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Diamante score from open play, because I still think, or even from a free kick. I still think he's easily our best free kick taker, as good as Neil is. Diamante still is,
Yeah, I think Neil's a better penalty. Kilkenny's a better penalty taker. Dim is a better free kick taker, I'd say.
Yeah, that's why I said free kick, not penalties. Because I think if we all cast our minds back to George Cross,
jeez,
pulling a Kepper.
I was going to say, I believe it's still in orbit with Keppers.
Yeah,
I think they're both still in orbit.
Yeah, they are.
That is literally what Kelsey just said.
Oh. That's Kepper going.
I reckon they're both still in orbit, like with Keppers.
Oh, dude, really? I was just thinking the same thing.
And John Terry's.
What is it, like 72 million for Kepper? Is that even worth the money? Am I
Not when you pay 70 for Allison. Nah.
Not when you're paying like 40 for Mendy, and he's tremendous.
Not when
Not when you
you
got
pay 30
Jamie
for
Young on the
Ramsdale.
free. Jamie Young on the free. Oh, what about that?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. We will I'll keep going. Sorry, I cut out there for someone who just paid a lot more money to Telstra for better intro. It's going well. What else can we expect from the starting 11?
Probably similar, if not the same.
It's hard to say.
Like maybe DP doesn't start, maybe Payne starts. Maybe you could even throw Theo a start.
Or Bio.
But the core group will be the same.
Yeah.
Our back four will be the same. Goalkeeper will be the same. I think you maybe even start both strikers, but I think Prijovic 100% is a start.
Start both goalkeepers, man. Just take it easy.
Which one do you play up front, though?
Oh, probably Jamie Young due to the height thing. Those 4 centimeters, big deal.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not really fussed. Whatever lineup we put out, I think they'll gel well and play well.
Yep.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we've got 2 good players in every position. So, yeah, it's not as much of an issue as it has been for seasons past.
Yeah. Kelsey, anything to add?
No, look, there might be a tweak here or there, but the team all know what to expect. Every player knows what to expect, whatever position they're in, and what they need to do.
Cool. Now, score predictions. Leb.
3-0 Western United.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I think this is going to be our first 3-0 game.
Yeah, look, we've scored 3 once this season, but I think, look, it's not easy because the opposition hasn't been perfect. We've been really good. It could go the other way. It's the A-League. You never know. But it's one of those games where you think we're on a roll. We're that solid at the back. And I think for once, the fact that we've had games coming thick and fast, we'll back it up with another strong performance. The fact that even though we're going to Ballarat, it's still a home game for us. We're still going to have our fans there. Yeah, I'm looking at us 3-0 and just stay at the top of the table.
Look,
Jay,
I'll say 2-0.
Okay.
Oh, I was just waiting for. Oh, you finished? Okay, 5-0.
Hey,
No, I'm not kidding
there we
either.
go.
I think we're gonna butcher them. 5-0. 4 different goal scorers too.
Who's getting 2 goals though?
Prio.
Yeah, you can
2
do
goals
it.
and an assist at the very least. And I say Prio for 2, Wales, DP, Wenzel Halls. All forward scoring. Or
Love
maybe
to see Dylan.
Lustica instead of
I'd
Wenzel
love
Halls.
to see Dylan get another one. That's for sure.
You know what? Jamie Young scores.
Yep.
Fuck it.
From a corner. Yeah, I was just...
Yeah. I'll take a 1-0 if it's Jamie Young headering in from the corner at the 94. So
I'll do it if he does it direct
but I
from the
think-
corner. He actually takes the corner and scores it in from the corner.
I want minimum 4-0
Now-
though. I want
now you're
our
reaching,
goal
now
difference
you're
to be plus 10 by the
Yeah,
end
we
of
need to
this
get
round.
we need to fix our goal difference.
Yeah.
at the end
Plus
of the
6
day,
isn't
look,
good
we've
enough
still
in
got
9
games
wins.
clear. We don't need
Yeah, I know, but
to fix our
we're
goal
4
difference
goals
to 10,
behind
but it'd be
City.
nice. It'd be nice.
4 goals behind City, so we need to up that. 4-0.
But I know
at
it's not
least, but I'm
points
going
in the
5-0.
bag. I know it's not points in the bag, but it's still a game in hand on top of that as well. If we run the same level of games, probably a bit more to worry about.
Yeah, but if that game in hand is 1 point, that's
Look,
my
I do understand that. I just think
No,
at
I'm not
this
saying you
point,
didn't.
It's
I
not
just,
as crucial as clean sheets and 1-0 wins.
like he just bust out clean sheets and 1-0 wins. I like it. Side note, did you guys see all the press that's been coming out online and in papers in the last 24 hours about Western United? It's really, we're not used to this good kind of publicity. It's very unsettling, if anything. Like news.com.au. Like I thought they were just like pushing the liberal agenda, but they're about like Western United at the moment. It's pretty crazy. Did you want to see any of that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, it's weird. It's great to see though.
I'm enjoying it for the 3 more weeks that it lasts till the AFL season starts.
Yeah, put it that way.
I've even seen Channel 7 and 9 cover the A-League, like on their morning shows, like putting some time into it, which is unprecedented. But we'll keep moving.
Didn't Nancy go on one of them?
Yeah, a while ago. That was Channel 10, though. That's like a given.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get into the tipping comp.
Quick note, I believe you forgot to tip Wallace, and now someone's in second.
Yeah, I want to get to it. I'm trying to, but you're talking to me, buddy.
You forgot to tip. You were flexing last week, and you forget to tip.
FYI, I'm giving up. I'm vacating my title run this season because I can't be bothered checking every night to see if an A-League game's on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm giving up on my fantasy, but the tipping, I'm pulling back a little.
Now, we'll go through it. Now, Methodical Flamethrower is currently winning on 35 points, tied with Woodster 99, but with a goal difference. Sherlock Machine, loose member of the pod, and Kelsey's house cohabitant, is on 34 for third. A-Trax, he's
I don't like that fourth place.
Yeah, A-Trax, we don't want. Yeah, A-Trax, we don't know if we can trust him with another trophy. I'm steadily behind at fifth. Lebby, you're coming pretty good at seventh.
I'm coming back.
Yeah, don't call it a comeback, man. Shout out Harris Mania. The Joker Baby's going okay at 14. And,
not bad
Kelsey,
considering I haven't tipped since December, so I'll take that.
And in contrast to Scott currently winning the Western Service Crew Dream League, he's also coming second last in the the more prestigious All Out West one. But just wanted to go through that. Next,
Debatable.
we have. I don't have anything for Around the Grounds. You guys have anything for Around the Grounds? I don't have anything.
No.
We had our Liverpool spiel before, so yeah.
Cool. Let's get into carded. And I have something I want to address. And I think this is like A-League memes mentioned this as well. And I just want to say, like, the fact that some fans from clubs have complained about not rescheduling games or getting players out of Brisbane and New South Wales and flood affected areas earlier so they can see the game. Wow. I'm just, that privilege, that is mind numbing. Those people need to be there for their families. Like this, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
We won't mention which fans are doing that.
No. There's been a bunch of other clubs as well, but yeah, expecting the clubs to like they were trying to save an accommodation. Why would you fly your team out earlier when it's like an hour plane trip to play for like? It doesn't make sense. It's like
they're
insane.
They're a professional football club. It's not that much.
Yeah, it's an hour. Like I remember driving to work in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get to like stay a night for work. But yeah, anyone else?
Oh,
look, I have three. I have three of them.
I think that was a good one.
I think Kelsey's up. He's got a few.
Okay, one to Opturd Sports for their constant coverage of bloody Celtic games. You know, they're the first team to get knocked out of all 3 European competitions. Don't mention that one. It's all pro-Celtic this, pro-Celtic that. Despite all their historic abuse cases, let's just leave that one for another day. And then even when Rangers win, oh no, it's all about Dortmund. They've had one Rangers article all year. Come on, be a little bit less biased. Second one, to the referee, I believe it was Sean Evans for the Melbourne City CCM game. For the City penalty, that was, that was a shocker. And then the non-CCM penalty. That was the, biggest gimme of a penalty all season. His studs were in his ankle. In fact, I believe he's still pulling them out. And thirdly, now I'm going to start this off by saying I haven't spoken to Scott yet, and I don't know where Scott sits on this. But I have spoken to a few other Chelsea fans, all supporters from 05. What a shock! Who are all talking about jumping ship if Chelsea start to slip or don't get as much funding. You support your team through the good times and the bad times. You know what I mean? You don't just jump ship because, hey, my team's not successful anymore. Sometimes the money well runs dry. Sometimes you have to earn your own players through your own profits. Try it sometime.
I love that.
Agri Kelsey's
I'll
my
add a
favorite.
card. I'll add a card.
Damn, I think I
into
just went into a fugue state listening to that.
second point
I
though.
just blacked
is
out.
that-
Sorry, dude.
well, sorry.
That was
Sorry.
brutal.
I'll add a point to.
Lebs up.
It doesn't just seem to be Melbourne City. It seems to be the City Football Group as well. Yeah, seems to be the whole City Football Group because you saw that travesty at the end of the Goodison Park game against Everton as well.
Oh,
And
the
look, at end of
handball.
day, you know my affiliations, and I hate both. I hate both clubs. So it'd be better for Liverpool if City did lose for the title, but at the end of the day, I want to see Everton get relegated too. Massive injustice to Everton. Why do we have VAR if we have literal donkeys running it?
Yeah, it's not the problems, the people that are using it. When millions of people at
The
home watching
technology
it,
is not an issue.
when the millions of people at home watching games can make the decision in 10 seconds, but the people, the one thing we need to bring out, which is exactly what they do in the NRL for the NRL bunker and the cricket, let us know what they're saying. Let us know what the umpires are telling each other, what the referees are telling each other. They won't because they're incompetent. And they've got no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
That's why we can't hear what they're saying. Every other, like NFL, NRL, cricket, whatever, they're all mic'd up and you can hear what they're all saying. AFL, which is a backward sport according to Kelsey, still have it better. And their camera angles are shit and they've still got a better goal review system. And it's just unbelievable that we don't even have that at the highest level, you know? That's
the
probably
fact
the
that it's
biggest red
look,
card I'd
A-League,
say.
you can make 1 point, but
He keeps bombing out for me. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah,
that looks
is it?
pretty
No,
funny,
he
that
is on
picture.
me as well. We might
I
have
just
to
don't think-
just
the
press
so-called
on.
best.
Leb,
Lebby,
you
you're
keep
cutting in and
man.
out.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Yeah, I thought it was me. But yeah, it's a travesty.
Right.
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
I've got
Jay?
my red card, and I think it's much worse. I'm just going to play a quick video. If you've watched Paramount Plus, you've seen this ad 40 times per
I'm
day.
out, guys. Fuck
Do
this.
not make internet. They have the worst advertising campaign. I cannot stress it enough. I hate them. I hate them so much, and I want to stick a corkscrew in my ears every time I hear that ad. And it's literally 4 times per ad break. Get some new ads. Get your shit together. It's fucked me off to no end. I hate that ad so much. Biggest red card I've ever had. Bigger than the VAR. We could blunder VAR every week. They could make handballs legal, and it'd still piss me off less than that fucking ad.
Okay. I think we should
To
leave
add to
the
that, though,
segment.
quick
Okay.
shout out to the Rock Lobster off the sport one too, because that's very, very similar.
But that's gone now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
thank Christ.
Black Rock Lobster.
It all starts with a yes.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on for our hate for ads, because ads just suck in general. I'm looking at you, Clive Palmer, but this about wraps us up for the week. Don't forget to check us out on social media for up-to-date West United content. Share, like, subscribe, and review all West Aren't We.
All West, aren't we?
All West,
All West, aren't we? Jean-Luc Brunel.